So this whole worksheet that you're going to get is all about slope-intercept form. And slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So this is the best way to graph. If it's in this form, if it's organized like this, y equals mx plus b, you could graph it very easily. All you do is look at where it crosses the y-axis, which is a b value. And then from that point, you rise and run according to your slope. So let's look at number 1 right here. Let's start with the b value. What's the b value? Anybody? Negative 1. So everybody, when you get the paper, you're going to put a dot at negative 1. And now from that point, you have to look at your slope. What's your slope? 1 over 4. So from that point, you go up 1 over 1, 2, 3, 4. So we went up 1 over 4 because it's a positive 1/4. If it would have been a negative 1/4, I would have gone down 1 over 4. You always run to the right, but you might rise up or you might rise down depending on if your slope is positive or negative. So once again, it's positive 1/4, so you go up 1 over 1, 2, 3, 4, and you put a dot right there. And you simply connect the dots, and that's how we graph. Very easy to do. Let's move on to the next question here. Where does this one cross the y-axis? Angel, what's the b value here?
Okay, positive 2.
Positive 2. You put a dot at positive 2 on the y.
And so it's like 1 because it's just next.
That's right. The slope is really 1 over 1, but it's negative 1 over 1, right? So you're going to go down 1 and over 1. You're going down 1 because it's negative. If it would have been positive, you've gone up 1. So it's down 1 over 1. And you put a dot right there. Now, obviously, this line is a little too small. So let's make it bigger by continuing with that slope pattern of down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. And, whoops, red, down 1 over 1. And you could extend it the other way using the pattern backwards. Anyway, you could extend it as long as you want. Put some arrows on it, you're done. Do you understand?
Yes.
One person understands, all right.
Yes. 4 people understand.
All right, so Aaliyah, where would this line, I'm talking about this line right here, this equation, where would this line cross the y-axis? Okay, easier question. What's the b value? What was that? 1. Okay, so the b value is 1, and remember the b value is your y-intercept. So go to your y-axis. There's 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Here's 1 on the y. You start by putting a dot right there. Now from that dot, you have to look at your slope. The slope is the number in front of x, right? The slope is a number in front of x. What number's in front of x? 1. Perfect. So if you wanted it in the form of rise over run, you're not just going to put a 1 right there, but you're going to put a 1 over 1. So from that point, you're going to go up 1 over 1. And we're going to put a dot right there. And you could continue the pattern of up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1 to make it as long as you want. Or you could use the pattern backwards to extend it the other way. And there's my line. And we put arrows on the line to represent that it goes forever. Let's move on to the next question. Number 4. So what's the b value? Negative 4. So let's go to the y-axis, go to negative 4, put a dot there. Now from that point, what's my slope? Aaliyah, what's my slope, Aaliyah? What's my slope? 4 over 3. So from this point, what do? Rise 4, go to the right 3. Perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Put a dot there. Connect the dots. You are done. Put some arrows on it. So on this one, the slope is negative 3 and the y-intercept's negative 3. You start with the y-intercept of negative 3. Now from that point, you're going to go slope, which is down 3 over 1. Remember, you always want it in the form of a fraction. So you're going to go down 3 over 1 from that point. You're going to go down 1, 2, 3 over 1. Put a dot there. If you wanted to extend it in the opposite direction, just use a pattern in the opposite way. Instead of down 3 over 1, go over 1 this way, up 3, over 1, up 3. Connect the dots. You're done. Number 6. So we learned a trick before Thanksgiving break. Whenever you have a letter equaling a number, there's a shortcut. You don't even have to think slope-intercept form. If you have y equals a number, what do we do?
You plot the dot.
You put the dot where?
On
Where would you put the dot here?
4 on the y-axis.
4 on the y, that's right. This says y equals 4, so you go to the y-axis, you go to 4, you put a dot right there. And then what?
It's just a line.
Just a line. So what kind of line is it? Horizontal or vertical?
Horizontal.
Horizontal. So that means just left to right. You put a line right there. You are done. Sorry, to match the other ones, we've been using blue.
Does that mean 0?
That means that the slope is 0, yeah, because it's totally flat.
So if it was like that, it's undefined, right?
Yeah, if it were straight up and down, it would be undefined. So if you ever have an equation that says x equals 4, then you would, like, let's say I had this, x equals 4, they told us to graph that. Then you would go to the x-axis, which is this one, and you go to the x value of 4, put a dot right there, and then you would make it vertical up and down. That's not what this one's asking for on number 6, but I'm just saying, if it's y equals a number, you go to the y-axis, you go to that number, you draw a horizontal line through it. If it's x equals a number, you go to your x-axis, you go to that number, you draw a vertical line through it. Super easy.
Wait, this is the refresher?
So on number 7 right here, we're going to be graphing, and you need to know the slope and the y-intercept. So if you're still not remembering this, you need to know that your first step is to do the y-intercept, which is the b value. Okay? So that's what you need to start with. You need to get the b first. So on this equation right here, what's the b value? -1, right? So you're going to go to -1, you're going to put a dot right there. The b is the y-intercept. And that's step 1 on graphing with slope-intercept form. Now, from there, you look at step 2 is to do slope. Do your m value. And you're right, up 3 over 5. So whatever that slope value is, if it's positive, it's going up. If it's negative, it's going down. But you always run to the right, from left to right. Okay, so up 1, 2, 3, over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put a dot there. And you connect the dots and you're done. Let's take a look at number 8. So once again, guys, we have an easy equation right here, x equals 5. If you ever have x equals 5 or y equals 3, if you have one letter equaling one number, it's as easy as going to that axis and drawing a line right through that value. So right here where it says x equals 5, you go to the x-axis. This is the x-axis. You go to the value of 5, and you draw a vertical line right through that x value of 5. And that's it. That's how you graph. If it would have said y equals 2, then you'd go to the y-axis. You go to the value of 2, and then draw a line right through it. It's that easy. Now, let's say you forget. First of all, we didn't graph y equals 2. We're supposed to graph x equals 5. So let's say you forgot that it's a vertical line crossing the x-axis at 5. You could always go back to a xy table and just put the value of 5 for x. So 5, 5, 5, and then you could put any numbers you want for y. So if you put like 0, 1, -2, and if you did graph those coordinates, 5, 0, 5, 1, 5, -2, 5, 0 is right here. 5, 0 is over here. 5, 1 is up here. 5, -2 is down here, so that would be a vertical line. But the shortcut is if it's x equals a number, you go to the x-axis, you draw a vertical line through it. If it's y equals a number, you go to your y-axis and draw a horizontal line through it. Let's go to number 9. All right, so number 9, y equals 3. Is this going to be a horizontal line or a vertical line? Horizontal. So you go to your y-axis, you go to 3. So here's your y-axis, you go to the value of 3, and you put a dot right there. And you just do a horizontal line right through it. Looking at number 10, right here we really do have y equals mx plus b. So what's the b value? What's the b value, guys? 2. Is it 2? Negative 2. So let's go to the y-axis. Remember, B is the y-intercept. Go to negative 2 on the y, put a dot there. From that dot, I need to rise and run according to my slope. What's my slope? 3 over 1. So you're going to go
Up 3.
1, 2, 3 over 1. Put a dot right there. Connect the dots, and you're done. Put some arrows on it. Now, if you wanted to extend the line further, all you have to do is continue with that slope pattern of up 1, 2, 3 over 1 and put a dot there. Or you could go backwards, over 1 this way and down 3, over 1, down 3, over 1, down 3, if you wanted to make it longer. Let's take a look at the next couple of questions. They're a little more interesting. Number 11, where does it cross the y-axis? What's the b value?
3.
Put a dot at 3. From that point, what do I do?
Go up 4.
So check this out. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm off the graph. How much do I run? 1. So I'm off the graph, but I'm right here. That is my dot. It's okay to put dots off of the graph. But obviously you want your coordinates to be on the graph. So right here you are going to have to forcefully use the pattern of up 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1 backwards, right? So you're going to go over 1 this way and 4 down. Go over 1 this way and then 4 down. That would get you right here to the coordinate negative 1, negative 1. So then you could connect the dots. And you could make it go all the way up here if you'd like. Or you could just put an arrow right there and an arrow right there. So right there you did have to use the pattern. On this next one you are going to have to also use that pattern backwards. All right. So this one crosses the y-axis at 5. Now from that point, how much do I rise? 6, and I run?
5.
So I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, way up here, and then go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm way off this thing, right?
Yeah.
So if I do put a dot up here, up 6 over 5, I mean, it would be silly for me to draw my line up here. So I need to use that pattern. I need to use that pattern backwards. Instead of up 6 over 5, I'm going to go backwards. Over 5 this way and 6 down. So over 5 this way and then 6 down would be right here.
Yeah.
So
It'd have to be a big graph.
that's about it. You have to know how to use that pattern backwards.